Okay, so I played with a bunch of different configurations. Don't mind my dryer making a bunch of noise in the background. Um, it's Jenna. It's just an awkward room. It's difficult to fit a good size sectional in here just because you've got this angle and you have so many points of entry and so many traffic patterns. So I just kind of drew in the basics, but so here's your entry, here's into the kitchen, and then into that other sitting room slash dining room area. And so with the one you sent me, um, the longer one I think is just going to be too long. The one that's 115 inches by 90 inches, just because you want to make sure that you have at least 3 feet of traffic space right back here, because if it's any tighter than that, it's just going to feel way too tight and just being able to get through. So 3 feet is kind of the minimum, and that's exactly what this is right now with the smaller one, the one that's 90 by 91. And you've got this piece of furniture here too, which means that you're fighting this area, so you want to make sure you have enough room to kind of walk around the piece. I mean, of course, there's always an option of moving this thing and maybe moving it into this room, or possibly moving it over onto this wall, although then you're kind of blocking some of the fireplace. I mean, this is kind of a nice spot where you've got that. So I played with it in every different fashion, and I think that, if you kind of look at it this way about coming into your room, like, so you come in the house here, and here's where your stairs would be, right? That kind of feels the most open. And I mean, yeah, someone's sitting here, and this isn't the sofa. I just grabbed one out of this program has like a 3D warehouse, and I just grabbed a sectional and plopped it in, and then just put in the dimensions. So you can see that it's still, even with this one at the 90 by 91 and a half, like you're pretty tight right here. The longer one, the problem was that if you put the long end on this wall, then it pushed you too far this way into these walkways. And then if you put the long end on this wall, then it got too far this way. So it's just a smaller one is just, if you want a sectional, I think that's what you're going to have to do. I'll show you what the other ones would look like. I mean, even just flipping it. So let me pause it for a second, and I'll change it. So, for example, if you just oriented it the other way, you kind of have to have it almost floating in the room a little bit. I mean, we can move it this way, a bit. The problem is that if you move it against the wall here, then you're really too tight to be by the TV. If you come, you could come this way more and have it kind of just tighter in by the TV, but then you kind of lose this space in the corner over here. If you come too far this way, it just is kind of, it's hard to make it feel right. Unless, again, if you, were to move this piece of furniture, which we could do, let's just, oops, sorry, my mouse is being weird right now. If we were to move this out of the way, you can see that you could kind of, move this back a little bit more, and you'll have a little bit more room here, although you still want to make sure that you have that minimum of 3 feet. So it's going to be, might feel kind of awkward walking this way. Let's see what that is right now. Yeah, see, we'd have to still even move this way a bit, and then that just feels weird. I mean, you'd have to move it then in. So it kind of, if you did it this way, if you wanted to orient it this direction, you're kind of creating, a smaller room within a room. You wouldn't be able to do anything over here in this corner. It just kind of feels, I don't know. I mean, this, if you kind of look at it walking in the space, this is what it would feel like. So you'd be walking into the back, which isn't ideal. It's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, I just want to show you what all the different options are so you kind of see how it all would feel. So let me show you just what the longer one is like, just so you know how big it would feel in this space. Okay, so here's the longer one, and as you can see, for that long end to fit, if you were to do it on this end, it's really, really tight by the fireplace. I mean, if you push back any further. I mean, already this space here is only, you know, 2.5 feet, which is pretty narrow. But you're like right up, you know, kind of against the fireplace here. So if you could fit it, but it would just mean that you'd have a very narrow walkway this way if you wanted to get the longer one. And then you're kind of, you know, this is what it would feel like looking in at it from here. So you're right here in front of the fireplace. So that's what the longer one would feel like this way, and I'll show you if we put the longer in on the other side. We made this side the long side. It fits, but then you wouldn't be able to have this piece of furniture there. So if you were, you know, thinking of maybe moving this somewhere else, like if we just move it out of the way right now, you can see that you still have enough room to kind of move around here, and then you just have to push it this way. You wouldn't be able to have it kind of even with the window, because if you do, let's look, if it kind of went right with the window, then you've got about, come on, little program. Oh, I need to buy a new mouse. Oh, you would. Okay, so you could actually. You could have it go right even with the window, and then it would kind of, you know, go across and just go over the window a little bit. So you wouldn't want to kind of push it too much more this way because you've got 3 feet right there. So if you wanted to do the longer one, you could. You just can't have this piece of furniture here, you know, so you won't be able to walk by it. So maybe, you know, moving it to another room. So those are kind of the things you'd have to work with, is that you could do the shorter one and leave this piece of furniture here. And then, you know, you can always like plop a cool chair in this corner. Or I know you have that cool yellow chaise that maybe you want to put over here. You know, do like a cool a table here, you know, big rug to anchor it. Or you can do the bigger one and maybe move this piece over here and move it in a different room. So I hope that helps. Whatever you decide, make sure that you ordered the right arm facing. So, for example, you have to make sure that this is, I have to remember how this goes. Left arm facing and right arm facing, and that will you know, depend on how you're formatting the piece. So, for example, when you're facing the sectional, so if you were standing, come on. If you were standing here facing this, the arm is on the right. So this means it's right arm facing, where this side is left arm facing, if that makes sense. So you want to make sure that you're ordering the right orientation of it. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon. No.